Coming to you live from the Beach House Grill. We're up in Old Town Fort Collins tonight to talk some Colorado State Ram football coming up here for the next hour. I'm Brian Roth. We'll be joined by head coach Steve Fairchild coming up here in just a moment. But if you want to hop on board and be a part of the program tonight, easy to do. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 1-866-702-7691. Again, that 800 number to hop on board, 1-866-702-7691. And you can ask the coach a question, have a comment about Ram football. Of course, Colorado State coming off a bye week, CSU a chance to kind of rest some of those injured players. Colorado State has, of course, had a rash of injuries here this year. A chance to get healthy and also an opportunity to kind of get back to the basics and the fundamentals. And head coach Steve Fairchild will talk to him about that bye week. But 3 practices here this past week, all of which were said to be very productive. And now the Rams here this week start setting their sights on their next opponent as CSU hits the stretch run of the season, the final 4 games. It opens up on Saturday with San Diego State. The Aztecs coming in at 5-3 on the season. And they'll invade Fort Collins. It'll be a 4 o'clock kickoff coming up Saturday afternoon from Sonny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium. It's an Aztec ball club that has shown itself to be a bit vulnerable of late. They're a very fine football team and certainly a program that was picked in the top 4 of the Mountain West Conference and a program that has some nice wins on its resume this year, but kind of tripped up a couple weeks ago against Wyoming, and now coming on the road here against a rested Colorado State team on Saturday. And so it should be a fine contest. And of course, a big crowd would certainly help at Sonny Lubick Field at Hughes Stadium on Saturday at 4 o'clock kickoff. And of course, we'll have the game for you right here on the Colorado State Sports Network. It all begins at 2 o'clock. We'll take our first time out here of the evening, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the coach, Steve Fairchild. That's next from Elegant Sports and the Colorado State Sports Network. Back here at the Beach House Grill, welcome everybody back. Coors Light, Steve Fairchild, Coach's Show here on the Colorado State Sports Network. Again, that phone number tonight, 1-866-702-7691 to hop on board here with the coach, Steve Fairchild. And we're joined by the coach here in this segment. Steve, good to be back here at the Beach House Grill after the week hiatus and a bye week, second bye week of the season. I know it's a bit quirky, but was that a good thing?
Well, it wasn't a bad thing. Number one, it allowed us to, to heal up, also get a little practice time in for some guys that were kind of developing in some spots that are having to play right now. And we also kind of approached it like a spring football. We got some of our real young guys that are redshirting a lot of time on the practice field. So felt like it was good, but it's nice to be back in a game week.
2 bye weeks or no bye week?
I'd rather have 2. It's tough to go through a season without a break, and these have come at good times, and we've made productive use of them. All early in the week, we get our coaches out recruiting, so we get some work done that way as well. And like I said, we got some pretty good practices in.
When you talk about kind of working on yourselves, working on the fundamentals, how exactly does a practice go during a bye week compared to a regular practice during a game week?
Well, you're not game planning an opponent, so you're not having to do some specific third down type of things or goal line short yardage type of things. So, as the season wears on, you tend to shorten practice a little bit just so you don't wear guys down. And as you do that, individual time is usually the time you cut. So a bye week got us back to, doing some fundamentals and getting back to some individuals time as well. So that part was good. And then you just get a chance to compete against each other, which I think our kids like to do.
Yeah, I know you're coming off a tough loss against UNLV. Is it good maybe to get a bye week in that respect where kids can get away from football for a few days?
Well, I think it helps, but that was a tough loss. There's no way to spin it. We battled back and had the lead late and just couldn't find a way to get it done again. So I know we're disappointed. I know our kids feel like we're a much better football team than our record, and so I think we're anxious in a sense to get back and play.
Yeah, talking on the post-game show to players in that UNLV locker room, everybody to a man really feels like this is a good football team that isn't a 3-5 team, but obviously that's what you are. But things, if you go back, I know would have, could have, should have, but this team could easily be 5-3 right now.
Well, and that's our challenge right now is late in the year sometimes you tend to be either regressing or improving, and It's a lot easier when you're 5-3 as opposed to 3-5. But we've just got to play like we're a team with a winning record. We've got to practice like it, which we are doing, prepare like it, and we get another chance Saturday to get that losing taste out of our mouths.
Yeah, when you get into November and you are 3-5, do you have to do anything special to try to keep the kids involved and into it, if you will?
Sometimes you do, but not with this football team. It's really been a fun team to coach and very willing, very hard-working, and that goes back not just through our season, but all the way back to last January with our mat drills and, through spring football and through the summer. So, they've invested hard and worked hard, and like I said, been a real pleasure to coach.
Well, does that start with the senior class?
I think it does, and in this case, it's been a great senior class, when you have guys like Mike Sisson and those type of guys out in front. But, we've got some good leaders down through each class, when you start to get down. I know Weston Richburg's going to be on here later on tonight, but, guy that's a redshirt sophomore, and guys like that, Pete Thomas and those type players do it as well. And we've had some developing leaders. Momo Thomas really kind of stepped up and been a real positive influence on our football team. So, like I said, top to bottom, it's just been a great group of kids to coach.
Yeah, I know the loss was tough to take at UNLV 38-35. There seemed to be a lot of positives coming out of that game, especially offensively, and in particular, the run game. It was a season best 250 yards on the ground. Yeah,
and we kind of got Chris Wolke rolling a little bit, which was nice to see. And Chris is the type back that's not a lot of flash to him. He's going to try to run you over, and as he got going, he got better as the game went on. So I think that's the type of runner he is. So that was positive. We did some nice things in the throw game. I think we left some yards out there in terms of the pass game, but we just got to find a way to. One week we're running well, one week we're throwing well. We got to find a week to get it all put together, and we were close at UNLV. That was a pretty good offensive output.
Yeah, one of the things you do notice about Chris, and you just touched on it, he's not a kid that when he gets in the open field, he's going to be a beautiful runner and make people miss. He seems to enjoy contact. I mean, he breaks that first level, and he looks for that linebacker or safety, and he's going right at it.
And when he does that, he's effective. A couple times, you catch him trying to make a little too much out of a play, and getting tackled sideways. But when he squares up and accelerates, he's, first of all, he's a good-sized kid. He's 215 plus. He's got some real quick twitch acceleration and good pad level. And he's, Gartrell-like. He can wear down secondaries if you get him to that level and get him running like that.
Yeah, tackling him in the first quarter is one thing, but
right.
Tackling him in the fourth quarter is a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, especially those second-level people. Like you try to tell the running backs, they'll come up and hit you once, but as it keeps going, they're going to start diving at your ankles and then trying to find a way to miss. So, and Chris could be that type of back. There's no question about it, and he showed that at the UNLV game.
When you're looking at the number of touches over the last couple games, first the UTEP and then UNLV, it seems as if he's kind of established himself as the guy. I know Raymond Carter's certainly still going to see the field, but Chris has kind of established himself.
Well, he has, and we always say that thing's a flow or a feel thing, and he's gotten into a good flow and deserved the amount of carries he's got. But I've really liked what Raymond's done. Raymond continues to practice hard. I thought Raymond came into the UTEP game and really looked good there, later on in the game. So they'll both play. We'll need them both. And, and again, as long as we're finishing runs and running like they were at UNLV, we're going to be able to run the football effectively.
As Coach Fairchild mentioned, Weston Richburg in the house here tonight, as is Crockett Gilmore, both of them from Bushland, Texas. We'll talk to both of them a little bit later on in the program. But we'll have more with the coach when we come back on the other side. We'll take a timeout. From Nelligan Sports, you're listening to the Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show. We're live on the Colorado State Sports Network. I'm back here at the Beach House Grill on a Wednesday evening, talking some Ram football here on the Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show. Brian Roth back with you along with head coach Steve Fairchild. To get that phone number, 1-866-702-7691, that telephone number. And, yeah, one of the players who really, I thought, continued to play well for you guys against UNLV was Shaquil Barrett. He just seems to have a knack. We talk about playmakers on the defensive side of the ball. He seems to be one of those kids.
Without a doubt, almost feel like he's under the radar with the type of year he's had. He's been tremendous. Very physical football player, runs very well, very smart. Got a huge upside. He's not redshirt. He's just a true sophomore. And Coach Clark's done a nice job, getting him acclimated to the middle linebacker spot. But like you said, he's found the end zone twice and continues just to, be a playmaker defensively. He's really had a tremendous year so far.
I knew you guys understood the talent that he had when he came over from Nebraska, Omaha. Again, he wasn't in spring drills with you guys, but it always takes some injuries sometimes to get a kid like that in the lineup, because you think about it. Michael Kowalik was your starting Mike linebacker in spring football, and of course Mike Sisson. If those guys hadn't been hurt, would we see Shaquil Barrett?
Well, we knew. I hate to use the word raw, but I knew he had talent, and I don't know, the way he's playing, it'd have been hard to keep him off the field. He'd have been somewhere, and he's just a tremendous football player. We're very fortunate to have him in the program. He was recruited when they ended up dropping football. He had some people interested in him, and we were fortunate enough that he decided to come to Colorado State, and like I said, he's had a tremendous year.
Oh, he's a strong kid too, isn't he?
Oh, just one of those naturally strong kids. He has good weight room numbers, but when he hits you, he's a very dense, muscular body, and he really can put the whack on you pretty good.
Ivory Hurd hasn't played the last 2 games, so you've played some young safeties. You've been young back there. Kind of evaluate the safety play without the senior.
Well, I think, when you looked at our roster, we've been trying to recruit very well and, upgrade our roster every year. And coming into the year, we were concerned a little bit at safety. We knew we'd be young, and at receiver. We felt those were the 2 areas that, kind of last pieces to develop in. And we knew we were going to play this year with some very, very young safeties, and that's been the case. But I really like what they're doing. Austin Gray's had a good year, and he's only going to do nothing but get better. He's a redshirt freshman, and Drew Riley's played quite a bit back there, very aggressive kid, and Ezra's a redshirt sophomore, is playing back there for us. So, and we've got a couple guys redshirting that I think are going to be really outstanding players. So we're getting there. Obviously it hasn't been perfect, but that's part of the deal. I mean, you got to play your way into some spots, and that's what we're doing at safety.
Yeah, and was Trent Matthews, the redshirt, the true freshman, was he on that trip to UNLV?
He was, because of some injuries and some things. There's a possibility. There's still some guys on the bubble that, you hate to do it, with this many games left, but you always got to do what's best for the team too. And so there were, we considered playing Trent. We didn't do it, and hopefully we're going to be able to redshirt him. Derek Grayson's another one. There's a few guys like that if the right couple of guys get hurt, we're going to have to put them in there.
Yeah, obviously you'd like to stay away from that. How about the other true freshmen now? And obviously they were thrown into the fire when you open up the season in September, but now here we are, we're 8 games in, 10 weeks in to the season. Have you seen development from those true freshmen that have been playing this year for you?
We really have, and you take the receivers, for example. Lee Clubb took a reverse against UNLV and almost scored with the thing, and Charles Lovett made some plays. So they're coming along. It's just you got a long way to go when you try to jump from high school football to Division I football, and particularly on the offense side of the ball, where there's memorization of new plays and formations and those sorts of things. But you see progress in every one of them. They're good players. They wouldn't be playing if they weren't, and it bodes well for the future. Yeah,
we mentioned Lee Clubb 2 weeks ago returning kickoffs, and of course he was phenomenal. I think a 43-yard and a 44-yard kickoff return against UTEP, and then saw Thomas Kaufman back there 2 weeks ago against UNLV.
Yeah, Thomas is a redshirt freshman that has been on our program now for a year, and he's made some big plays going back to San Jose State and Boise. He's certainly a deep threat, and he's developing as a receiver as well. And I think these guys, as each game goes and each practice goes on, they get better and better because they're so young. It's also new to them.
But you like Kaufman at the kickoff return position?
Oh, no doubt, because he's with his speed, if you get a crease, it's going to go the distance, and you like that type of guy back there.
All right, how about the injury situation? And Elijah Bluesmith on the trip, on the sidelines at UNLV, didn't start, nor I don't think, did he play a single snap?
Didn't play. He's been fighting a shoulder, ever since the summer, and very courageously he's played a lot of football for us, but he's starting to wear down a little bit. So I believe he may be out for a while, maybe out for the year. So he's another one of the starters that we're not going to have. And I hate to see that, because I think he had a future. And maybe somebody will still give him a look, but at corner was his spot, and with his length and speed, he did some very nice things when he was in there for us. So I don't anticipate, even with the bye week, I don't think we're going to get anybody back that we didn't have available for the UNLV game. Although Mike Sisson is starting to practice a little bit, and he's running around on the practice field and actually doing some scout team and individual work for us. So he's a lot closer than I would have anticipated at this point.
What does that mean to the team just to see? I know he was out there in shells this week. What does that mean to this team to see him out there?
Well, it's the converse of when he went down. He's without a doubt our team leader, and he went down that UNC game. I think you can spin it however you want. It took a little bit of breath out of everybody, and now when you see him back out there bouncing around a little bit, you get excited. And I'd like nothing better for Mike to have a chance to play football again. It is his senior year, and to see him be able to put the pads back at some point would be just a really nice thing to see.
Yeah, that of course Paul Madsen, I think kind of surprised even you guys playing as much as he did.
I didn't anticipate Paul playing like he did as much as he did. In fact, I didn't know if we'd have Paul at all when we went into that game, and he certainly wasn't 100%. But you talk about a gutsy effort. He lined up and played, and he played quite a bit for us. So the bye week did help him. He should be back now. I don't know if he's full strength, but back close to full strength for us when we play San Diego State.
So you'll have Madsen at weak side tackle, and Sam Brylo will be at the strong side.
Yeah, and Hathaway can roll in there, and at least we've got a little more experience with Paul, and we can roll some guys through. When we were down to the two freshmen, that kind of that stresses out a little bit. Plus, you didn't know what you're going to do if one of those guys got next. So the tackle situation is a little bit better than it was, say, the Boise State game or the UTEP game.
Back here at the Beach House Grill on a Wednesday evening. Coors Light Steve Fairchild Coaches Show. Just a handful of these left. Trying to think, is it next week that we move it to Tuesday, or is it the week after? 2 weeks. So we'll be right here coming up next Wednesday night. In 2 weeks, we'll move it up to a Tuesday because that's the week of Thanksgiving, so Tuesday the 22nd. So make sure to put that note on your calendar.
Glad you reminded me.
Yeah, that's right.
I might have forgotten about that
Steve, nobody wants to listen to me sit up here and talk Ram
you'd
football for an hour. That's right. Hey, special night in the Fairchild household as well as your wife Nancy. It's her birthday, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's Nancy's birthday. She's 25 years old.
25 years old, Nancy Fairchild.
I think we should bring her up here and put her on for a deal here.
She's shooting arrows at you right now.
It's nice having it during the season. It takes me off the hook. I'm not accountable for much. So
it'd be a whole nother ball game if her birthday was in June, wouldn't it?
Yeah, then I'd be accountable. So
to be the wife of a coach is you have to be an extraordinary woman, number one. But you were just mentioning to me, run us through all the places you've been.
Well, I don't know if anybody wants to hear. First of all, I don't know if she knew what she was getting into when she married me. That's number one. But
you guys met your senior year here.
Yeah,
at
when
CSU.
we were here, we both were students here at CSU and got married, and then we set out on a little coaching adventure at that point. And like I said, I don't know if she knew what she was getting into. She might not have married me had she known where we were headed. But we have moved a lot. She's bought and sold some houses, and we've had to experience different levels of coaching from junior college all the way to the NFL. We've lived on the West Coast, the East Coast. It's I mean this in all sincerity. It's been a hell of a ride. We've had a great time, and I don't know how she feels, but it's been wonderful as far as I'm concerned.
Well, she's still with you. And she's here at every single coach's show.
I think she's going to head for the door right now.
Well, Nancy, happy birthday tonight, and enjoy it. And hopefully somebody can buy her some dinner tonight because I know you're going to go back and work after this. 866-702-7691 is the telephone number here tonight. Big game coming up with San Diego State. But before we dive into the Aztecs, it's a Rams Legends weekend. And I know some former CSU football players are coming back. It's important to get some of the former Ram greats back and integrated and involved in the program, isn't it?
I think it's key. And, I've been kind of lucky because I've gone through 3 different eras of CSU football. I went through in the late 70s, early 80s as a player and then came back with Coach Lubick in the 90s and then came back as a head football coach. So I've been able to see a lot of guys come through, and I think it's, I think we undersell our heritage in football here and some of the great players that have walked around the halls there at Moby and gone on and done some great things, not just collegiately, but in the NFL and in their private lives. And I think as many of those type guys as you can bring back and put in front of the football team, I think it's a good thing. We were lucky the other day, they inducted Ray Jackson into the Hall of Fame, and Ray spent some time with our football team, and I know our team appreciated it. I really did, because I think Ray's just a class act, and so hopefully we'll get to see a few more of the guys this weekend.
Well, and I think it's fun for those guys not only to come back and see their old stomping grounds, but when it comes to what you guys have done on campus and now what you've done out at Hughes Stadium, to see all the improvements that have gone on.
Yeah, we really, I always felt that we had a chance as a program at CSU to capitalize on what we did in the 90s, what Coach Lubick had done, and I'm not sure we did that. We kind of took Sonny for granted and just cruised right along, and if you're not trying to get better, then everybody's going to pass you by, and I think that happened a little bit. And I know Paul Kowalczyk and Dr. Frank, that we've kind of gotten back to resourcing and allocating things for our football program and our athletic department the way it needs to be done. And when you come back on campus and you see the stadium and the indoor facility and the academic center and just the way we're going about and treating our kids, the way we're training them, that's what good programs do. And I think it's going to show now. I think if we continue to train and do the things we're doing, we'll get this program turned around.